So maybe if I say your name, you could just say where you're from, and then we'll wait for the other people to come in. So, Ardi?
Yes.
Where are you from?
I'm Ardi and I come from Hezen.
That is in the Netherlands.
That's in the Netherlands. And yeah, in the south of the Netherlands.
Oh, yeah. And Erica?
Hello, everybody. I'm Erica, calling in from Saarbrücken, Germany.
Mm-hmm.
Caroline?
Hello, everybody. I'm Caroline and I'm coming from Almere, the Netherlands.
Oh! Oh. Delilah and Jules?
Yeah. Hello, here Delilah.
And Jules?
We're coming also from the Netherlands, from Hezen.
A little town just south of Eindhoven.
Oh, nice. And Anna?
Hello, everybody. My name is Anna, and I live in The Hague in the Netherlands as well.
In the Netherlands. Okay, and then the Couch family, Roger Space?
Yeah, I'm Roger with Evert and Barbara and Marieke.
Aha.
And we're from Laren in Netherlands.
Oh,
Close to Amsterdam.
Laren, Noord-Holland.
Oh, wow. So at the moment we could speak Dutch, right? But
I can't speak Dutch.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. No, but I can't do that for the conference. It has to be in English. Yeah, let's just begin. So maybe let's all close our eyes. And welcome in this space together. So just relax yourselves in your chair, in your body. And breathe through your body, through your heart. And maybe imagine us all standing together in a circle, holding hands and meeting, collaborating today on what is needed to make the shift from a money first to a care first economy and world. Thank you. So you can all open up your eyes. Candace is arriving from Boulder, Colorado. So what I will do, I'll introduce myself briefly and how I ended up doing this Zoom session. And then I want to move together into the vision of a care first world and begin to explore, once we're clear about what money first and care first actually is, or the way that I define it. Start collaborating on how we can make that shift together. So I'm Louis. I live with my lovely wife Sandra in Forest near Findhorn in Scotland. I was invited into this conference only a few days ago through a woman called Nilima Bath, who organized that together with Kristen Envik from Sweden. They also just did a workshop that I give, Meeting the Mystery of Money. And yeah, I found out that they are wanting to facilitate how we move together through, on one hand, the COVID-19 crisis, but I think that a lot of us are understanding that this is a moment to stop and really look at what we're doing as humanity, and therefore an opportunity to rethink what we're doing, to rethink the direction that we're taking. And I think they just opened up the space for that collaborative effort, which I really like, and which I'm active in every day with most of my friends internationally. So when it comes down to the shift from money first to care first, I started working as an intuitive counselor in 1981. In 1983, I met my wife, Sandra, and we began running that practice together as a man and a woman, giving psychic readings to people, assisting them with their lives. And at the end of the 80s, something for me personally happened around money. I'd been experiencing so much of all the levels where we were trying to transform. And at that time, it was called the New Age movement. And there was something in me drawn towards money and feeling that it was so important in everything that we are transforming, that we really looked at money. But I also had a sense that if we could bring all our new consciousness to money and assist the world to turn in that part of our culture, that it was almost like turning a mystery key. But if you could turn the thing where the money sits, the whole culture could flip around. There was a sense that I had. And it was an inner calling to look at money, to come face to face with it. And the first thing that I thought, if I want to make any sense of this realm, I first have to look at the fear in myself, the fear in humanity, and see if I can shift from fear to love. So that was an intention I was setting. And then I was helped inwardly and shown, yes, you can make a shift from a world of fear to a world of love. And I entered processes that had nothing to do with money. Or let's say money was a part of it, but it was really just the shift from fear to love. And that was really beautiful and really deep. So that by March 1990, I felt I really arrived in my heart and was capable to look at every financial and economic action from my heart with the question, does the action start with love? Does it end with love? And does it walk the path of love? And that was just Louis' approach. That's how I looked at things. So in the early 90s, of course, I began to realize that that was such a way out, such a different approach, almost as if love wasn't really belonging in that realm, as if it was a strange thing to connect finance and economics to love. So over the years, I began to develop a vision for a love-based economy and a care-first world. And I think what I would like to do is to share with you part of a vision piece that I share on the workshop, Meeting the Mystery of Money. I say a little bit about that workshop because in the 90s, I built up a vision a lot in the States for a love-based economy and a care-first world where all the actions were connected to the heart, and people loved that. But the question was, how do you make this real? How do we make this real in our lives? And in 2004, I received an inspiration for a workshop, Meeting the Mystery of Money. And that is there we create a space for people to be with their relationship to money for 2.5 days in a very intimate space where we look at all the fears, the desperation, the anger, the conditioning that we built up from our youth, and then slowly shifting into our own empowerment. But in the workshop, we use archetypes that play out what could be an archetypal story in relationship to the test that we go through with money. So in the workshop, You meet a god of money, a goddess of abundance, a community keeper, a condor and an eagle. It's a whole process where we are journeying from the old to the new world, let's say. And as a part of that workshop, we are reading something that I wrote in poetry form in 2001 as a cleaner, when I worked as a cleaner, and already had worked with this stuff for many years and thought to myself, what can I communicate to all the other cleaners of everything that I've learned? So I'm going to share a part of that vision piece with you. And then after I've done that, I turn on some music so you can let it integrate. And then I want us all to go inside and together, also in breakout rooms, to see what our inspirations are for making that shift from a money first to a care first world. So I'll share my screen with you. So in this way you can read it with me, but I will read it, and just take it in. Just let it come to you and see how it speaks. So it's called The Garden, a Love-Based Economy and a Care-First World. What is the garden? In the garden we stand together with the presence of love in our hearts. We are in community and co-create our dreams. We hold each other, ourselves, and all life on this planet in love's embrace. We are present with that love and live that love. We connect heaven and earth, work with spirit and matter in their perfect marriage. We are happy and fulfill our soul's calling. We serve the greater good, the evolution of ourselves, each other, and our planet. In the garden, we are at peace. We experience the mystery. We are ourselves and have each other. In the garden, our souls can rest in a world of love where justice prevails. It is the manifestation of our deepest dream. In the garden, we live that dream. We do not wait for it to happen. We put love in action. We apply care first. We create a beautiful world. What is a love-based economy? A love-based economy is an economy where caring, sharing, loving, giving, and receiving are the forces motivating our behavior. Where in our dealings with money, goods, and services, we are in an experience of love. We receive the gifts of our material earth. We are grateful for them. We feel loved by life, loved by the giving and sharing forces of nature, of our Creator, of our Heavenly Father and Mother Earth. We share those gifts. We care for each other with them. We do not take from each other, possess the gifts, use ownership to have power over others. We make sure that everyone has enough, and we steward this planet together. When someone works for us or does a service, we pay and repay them. The payment is the expression of our gratitude and appreciation. It is how we honor that person. When we have a company, we aim to work together and share. We use money to love. In a love-based economy, our work has meaning. We make our specific contribution to the whole. We share the particular gifts we have and follow our inner calling. We play our part in the orchestra and harmonize with others playing their parts. Our work is always in service of each other, ourselves, and our planet. When we get up in the morning and go to work, are we in an experience of love? When we are at work and making money, are we experiencing love? When the answer is yes, we live in a love-based economy. When it is no, This economy is not a part of us, and we can ask ourselves why. That's how simple it all is. We need to know that we can create our lives, that we have the power within, that we have the power to create what we dream. When our work is what we dream of, we are in an experience of love. What is a care-first world? We apply care first when we put care first and let money serve that care. We apply money first when we put money first at the expense of what we care about. I see money first and care first as the two aspects of our test with money. In a care first world, we use money in service of our caring, our values, and our passion. We use it in service of the well-being of ourselves, each other, and the earth. Care first creates a love-based economy. In a money-first world, we use money at the expense of our caring, our values, and our passion. We use it at the expense of the well-being of ourselves, each other, and the earth. Money first creates a fear-based economy. As we enter the money-first aspect of our life and culture, we meet an illusion. We look for money without looking for care, life, and spirit, and hope to find something, but enter emptiness and find nothing. This can lead to anger and frustration, and can open the careless and destructive side of our nature. As we enter the care-first aspect of our life and culture, we meet truth. When we aim for care, life, and spirit, and use money to serve that aim, we enter fullness and find everything. This leads to satisfaction and happiness and opens the caring and constructive side of our nature. When we work for money at the expense of our values, passion, and caring, we're not happy with that work, only happy with the money we receive and the material well-being it gives us. When our work is the expression of our values, passion, and caring, we're happy with that work and happy with the money we receive. We are happy on all levels. When we feel we need to take a job for money and are not expressing our real selves, are not making our unique contribution to our community and earth, we are in a sense wasting our time and have less time, energy, and willingness to care for our community and the earth. This is different when we do the work we love and money comes our way as we do it. Then we're happy and it is easier and more natural for us to care. We're not wasting our time and are full of purpose. Isn't that what each of us wants to feel? When we look at care first and money first inside of ourselves, we can see that when we live in money first, we are tense, alone, in separation, fearful, and depressed. When we live in care first, we are strong, vibrant, happy, and most of all, in harmony with ourselves. Care first stabilizes the world because it stabilizes our psyche. Care first sustains the world because it sustains us. Money first destabilizes the world and is not sustainable. Can you see what will happen to our world when we move from a money first to a care first attitude? Today's world is not the garden yet. How do we go there? We've shared a dream, a possibility. What is needed to make it real? And where are we? Let's begin with looking at the money world, what money is in our economy and how it affects our lives. Why does it have such a powerful position in our lives? Why is it true that in a certain sense, money makes our world go round? Money is a means of exchange that is necessary for most of what we need for our daily living. We needed to receive our part of the earth's gift. This surely makes it an intimate part of our world. It gives money a position where it can have power over us if we allow it to. Money has a strong relationship to ownership. When we buy something, it becomes ours, and we legally own the things we purchase. This makes the money world ownership-based. The connection to ownership can give money itself a lot of power. Most of us feel that we need to earn our living and make money. This tends to be an individual effort, something we do alone. It is up to us to acquire our piece of the pie, which is not given to us. We work hard for it and can choose to go into battle and competition with each other. An environment like this can foster the forces of greed, fear, desire for power, possessiveness, and selfishness. It's also the birthing ground for a money-first attitude. We need money first, because then we can have what we want and have what we need. We need to have money to have life. Material well-being doesn't necessarily bring us together. There's still a lot of aggression and emptiness in well-to-do countries. So although there's progress, still many problems remain. Let's look at how we can build a love-based economy. Let's look at sharing, ownership, stewardship, money, love, and the power of care. Ownership and the gift of our earth. Ownership has become a completely natural thing to us. We own our car, our home, our material possessions. But what is ownership in the light of all that the earth materially provides? Do we own the planet? Do we own life? Do we own our children? Can we own a gift? I had an inner experience, Christmas 1987. I was thinking about how we're using up the resources of this planet so quickly, when suddenly I felt a surge of love rising up from below, which I experienced as the love of Mother Earth, the mother aspect of creation. I felt that all material things are the expression of this love, and that we need to learn to receive her love for us all. I felt that once I truly received it, all I could do is share it. Then I experienced that ownership, that saying to her gift, "This is mine," was almost like an insult to the love given. In Native American Indian culture, they very strongly experience that we do not own this planet. In his famous speech, when the white man proposed to buy their land, Chief Seattle said, "How can you buy and sell the sky, the warmth of the land? The idea is strange to us. If we do not own the freshness of the air and the sparkle of the water, how can we buy them? Every part of the earth is sacred to my people. Every shining pine needle, every sandy shore, every mist in the dark wood, every clearing and humming insect is holy in the memory and experience of my people. So if we sell our land, love it as we have loved it, care for it as we have cared for it. Hold in your mind the memory of the land as it is when you take it, and with all your strength, with all your mind, with all your heart, preserve it for your children and love it as God loves us. When we say this is mine in a possessive way, we separate ourselves from the source, ourselves, and the rest of the world. When we're not grateful and want to show off with all our material goods, we are alone and without love. As soon as we receive the gift in gratitude, we feel connected to the source, to ourselves and our world and are full of love. Possessiveness creates separation, but when we steward, take care of the earth, we are one with all life. It is nice to have our own home and privacy, but it remains still a part of the whole and of all life and is never really our possession. It remains the gift it is, a gift for all, of which we can take care of one part. The transformation of finance. In 1993, I had an inner vision where I was shown that one day I would start a charitable organization called World Finance Initiative, whose aim would be to help stop war, hunger, and pollution by using finance in a different way. I thought to myself, what can this different way be? 2 years later, in the middle of the night, I was shown money and the presence of love moved inside of the money, through which they merged and became one. The next morning, I was pondering about money being imbued by love. I thought, what would happen if this kind of money would be used in a bank? How will the bank respond to people's financial needs and problems when love is the motivating force behind its use of money? This experience took me into a level of consciousness that was easy to experience, but not so easy to understand, perceiving money itself as an expression of love. The logo of the World Finance Initiative is a Grecian goddess pouring golden water out of a blue pot over the earth. This golden water symbolizes money as love and care, healing our world. I began to speak about the transformation of money itself. Of course, money is just the thing, and what makes a difference to money and how we experience it is how it is being used. When someone gives a financial contribution in support of you and your work, that money is imbued with the love and care the person feels for you, and the money feels great. When a greedy landlord takes too much money from you, the money is imbued with the greed, and that money doesn't feel good. Money becomes what we do with it. Therefore, money as love or money as care is something we create. Money can become a beautiful tool for creating a caring world. It can also be a tool for creating a cold and unhappy world. We can connect its use to our love, our care, our desire to share, to give and to receive. We can connect it to our greed, fear, selfishness, possessiveness, and desire to have power. We can create our use of money as we see fit. The 4 actions. I want to summarize all we've spoken of in the description of 4 actions, 4 movements or shifts we can make from one level of experience and consciousness to another. First action. To move from a place where we try to get and take our piece of the gift towards standing around the gift together and receiving and sharing it. Second action, to move from ownership to stewardship. Third action, to move from a use of money based on our greed, fear, power, selfishness, possessiveness, to a use of money based on caring, sharing, loving, giving and receiving. Fourth action, to move from a money first to a care first attitude. So what I wanted to do is to explore together how we see that shift from a money first to a care first world. So just ask yourself, how do we make the shift individually and collectively from a money first to care first economy and world? What would be needed to make that shift? So just be with that in your own inner silence and meditation. Make notes if you need to make notes, or enter your notes in the Google form. And I'll call you back. So thank you. So I will now send you into your rooms and you'll meet someone and just be together and share what's been happening and explore the question together. So was it nice for you guys to do it like that? Meet each other in breakout rooms and talk about something sensible? Yeah. So the good thing of this is, I mean, when I joined Delilah and Jules because they were on their own. And so they shared with me what they already had written in the Google Doc. The nice thing of that is that everything that you've placed in there or put in there afterwards, I will see, and then we can work with that information. Because that is really the place where I am. I would like to be with everybody, all thinking together how we're going to do this thing. So maybe it is nice for, let's say, anyone in any group, or let me just see. Hold on one second. Oh, yes. Now let's first go to the room with Candace and Peter. Would you like to share anything with us that came up for both of you in relationship to that question? Hello, Candace. Candace has known me for a long time.
Yes. Hi, Louis. Happy birthday.
Thank you. So is there anything the two of you would like to share in relationship to exploring this question with us all?
Peter, why don't you go ahead?
Oh, okay. Well, we talked about the situation in the world at this moment. My first thing what came up to me was inner peace. I need really the inner peace and the cooperation, and I think that's important to make a shift from to a world where we can take care of it, of each other. Oh, that's it. And Candace can explain it very well. Her English is much better than mine.
Yeah, well, so yes, we talked about, you know, when I heard Peter talking about inner peace and cooperation, that was very clear for me, because my understanding is that consciousness is fundamental to life rather than material or matter. And that this awareness that consciousness is fundamental is what needs to happen. We need to develop this awareness before anything can shift. And we also talked about how love and life and light were synonymous, meaning that when we have respect for all life, when we can bring light into our lives through various means, say, you know, having a deep appreciation and respect for others, for even nature, for, you know, small things. If we can start to develop that level of appreciation, that's in a sense bringing our inner peace, as Peter was talking about, bringing that inner peace into our lives, and having that inner peace starting from that place expands the awareness and consciousness that we're all connected, because you can start to see that beauty and that life in everything. You know, it's ubiquitous. I mean, it's everywhere, and of course, this is what having this light and appreciation for life, for all life, naturally then develops a sense of love because it's all the same, and that love then becomes a natural outgrowth of our appreciation for life. And I think that if more people could work on an individual level to bring that light into the life, then this is how we start to be able to shift. And we got into talking too about, you know, the current pandemic, and over here in the United States, we have Black Lives Matter, which is, you know, with the protests and the police brutality and all of that, that this is a huge wake-up call. We're in a tectonic shift level of transition in not just this country, but the world, as we're seeing this is taking hold elsewhere as well. And that it's bringing attention. Peter was talking about all lives mattering, and of course this is it, right? This is the interconnectedness and the consciousness we need to get to, that all lives matter. But if we can't see that Black lives matter, if we can't see that, if we can't address it, if we can't be with it, if we can't acknowledge our ignorance of it in ourselves, then we're not fulfilling our idea of all lives matter. You know, that's not happening. So it's important to open ourselves to all the pain, all of the everything that's coming with our own darkness that we carry. You know, and in doing that, I think is how we will be able to start to shift things into a better world.
Yeah, thank you, Candice. I mean, it's interesting, you know, I'll ask Julian Delian in a minute, but I think a lot happens from that inner stillness. So Anna and Ardi, would you like to share anything of what you came to together?
Yeah, well, I quite a few things very similar, I think, to what Peter and Candice were describing. Very much also from taking, on an individual level, taking your own responsibilities in living from the heart and ensuring heart coherence, seeing clearly how you're responding to things and taking responsibility to shift on an individual level. And we were sort of looking at it that we're still in a stage where it's very much about transformation from the micro level up to the macro level. So a lot of inner transformations. And if we then step up and use our voice and speak out also in social media from this place of love, then we can, you know, we can impact more. But it all starts from the purity within and being conscious of our choices and taking responsibility for our own lives. And you know, talking about from manifest to care first, it's also taking responsibility for your own financial freedom and not being dependent on others, whether it be, you know, an employer or a government or whatever. And from there, you can really express your life and yeah, what you truly have to bring in this world. But basically, Louis, you were mentioning before in the text that you read out. And yes, we are in a huge shift. So there are more and more people waking up. So if we, you know, people waking up, speak out, transform within themselves, spread out, then more and more of the collective will be able to join. So it's like, you know, if you look at how an innovation curve, it's all, you know, it's pioneers and people who at the beginning, and then, you know, slowly more of the majority comes in, and then there's a tipping point and basically everybody joins. But it's from the bottom way up.
Thank you very much. I just want to make sure that everyone can share. We have another 14 minutes. I mean, let's hold to that for a moment. So thank you so much, Anne. Ardi, is there? So maybe if anyone shares, maybe take 2-3 minutes. And of course, we have the Roger Space group. That is a lot of people. Is there anything you wanted to share, Ardi?
Yeah, we talked about, Anna and I talked about this. So we agreeing, and she tells everything I found out also. But also to on social media, it's maybe also okay to have a tone of voice. How do you call it, Anna? It's you say it so nicely. Also, and to be interested in people and to go to that people and say, well, hey, how can I reach you? And then with love and respect and everything, to bring also information.
Mm.
And for the rest, Anna said.
And finding the connection with the other person.
Yeah.
And having the right tone of voice to be able to actually connect with the other person. And from a place of connection with the other, you can actually engage further. And,
lovely. Okay, thank you. So the Roger Space family. So lovely to see you guys there.
We are spacing.
So anything you guys would like to share?
Yes, we thought one of the most important thing was that we are going to live in smaller communities, or that would contribute to more care for each other, because you just know each other better and it's more personal.
Local.
So it's also, local communities. So it's also easier to share with each other without even needing money. But the other thing I'm thinking of right now is that we need to put the priority more on people inside of corporations instead of on money. We need to start that discussion, or actually we are helping corporations putting the priority around people and their relationships, so that they feel there's more space created inside of locals, or actually physical spaces to be silent, or spaces in meetings
rooms,
to just become silent or to connect with each other. So actually voice what's moving inside of you in relationship to what you're doing, or what you don't want to do, what you do want to do. There's more space for the authentic self and the authentic connection between people and the broader environment. So how is this impacting to the other stakeholders and nature?
Lovely. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Erica? Or you're laughing. It's so strange not to be physically together. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Erica, would you like to share anything?
Well, I was together with the lovely Space family.
Oh, I see. You were with them. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, but what I like to add, we had quite a lot of resonant interest, like the co-creation handbook and the Oracle Girl doing the purification exercises. One thing I added, I had the honor to have visited a lot of Anastasia kin domains. I don't know if any of you know them. They're based on those books from Vladimir Maigret, according to a Siberian spirit, who is like giving some beautiful ideas how to live also like in small communities, having own natural schools, growing own food, and building spaces of love, which is very similar to what you read out at the beginning with the garden of the Care First economy. I think this is beautifully described in the Anastasia books. what I missed in those Anastasia communities is the cultural aspect. And I'm so glad, Candice, that you mentioned it as well, that at the moment, this is not just in America, this whole movement that we all lives matter. There's this cultural aspect, this diversity, which is, for example, I miss that in these communities I've been visiting. It was not representative of the majority of other countries, which are very diverse. And this brings a lot of shadow parts within us. How do we deal with those things? Like if people are totally different from us, and we are now in this in-between space. We don't know yet how to incorporate and be inclusive, but I think it's a great opportunity for all of us around the world to think about how can we deal with it for the care first economy to emerge. This is a very important aspect, this cultural inclusivity.
Beautiful, thank you. Jules and Delilah, is there anything you want to share? Just 2-3 minutes.
Yeah, I think a lot of share is already shared, and I think like coming together like this, that you invited us to talk about it, is also an opportunity to bring into all these kinds of flavors together and learn from each other how we think about things. And for me, it's also about the consciousness from the awareness from the person, the individual. It starts with the individual, and then we move up to being with each other and the intimacy with each other to learn from also cultures, but from closer to be closer and to be near each other in the local communities. And then we are afhankelijk, depending on each other, and then we go in deep with each other. And I feel like when we can do this deprogramming and deconditioning, and also learn that we put our power into the money, we project it on money, project it on things outside of ourselves, and we are this power outside of ourselves, we have it in ourselves. And when we take the power back and we take our ownership, then we will become our essence, and we connect with source. And from then on, we connect also with nature and all people. And then we are in this space of oneness. And then we only can act from care and share. And that's normal. And we cannot do anything about, like wars and being outside of ourselves. And we have to connect back into ourselves and in our space, and taking our own space and taking our own power back. And it's not power over, but it's power with myself and power with each other.
Yeah, that's lovely, Delilah. I mean, to come back to where you started, Peter, I mean, my sense with COVID-19 here is that it is as if life really said, now stop. And begin to, it's a painful thing to say, begin to breathe. Stop and breathe and listen. You know, when Boris Johnson in the UK says, and then we'll get the economy going again, I think to myself, please don't get it going again. We're unconsciously causing so much damage by what we're doing. Why don't we stop and think of what we're actually doing and rethinking it? So just a few things. Maybe before I close, do you all feel that you would need to stop in 4 minutes, or would you be happy to have another 10-15 minutes together? What would you like?
For me, it's good to continue a little, because we are now at a very nice point.
If anyone wants to continue another 10-15 minutes, can you just raise your hand so I know? That's everybody. Okay. Then I can breathe out. So we'll go on at least another 15 minutes. So no, So I think the thing that I share about Care First has been unifying people since it started. I mean, that was for me in 1997. And what I watch in people, as soon as you use those words, a really good thing happens in their psyche, because it's not just the power of care that directs the money, it's the application of care in all directions. And if that goes all the way through, we can do so much. So a lot of people have loved the Care First expression because it can be understood by everyone, not just, you know, the people in the alternative community, but everywhere. So I've been living with this, and what I've been feeling is that for me, it is really the time now to collaborate with others in a really strong manner. So like I have friends in the Netherlands, Jacques Hielema and Damaris Matthijssen, and they can give me a clear picture of what a Care First economy looks like in practice. So we have our society, but how does the whole thing work from a Care First point of view, where everywhere in the society, money flows in a Care First manner? And they can share that picture with me. I think what I'm trying to say is that for me to really do what we're doing now, but then being able to do that more consistently. I mean, if we could keep talking with us and then other people from everywhere and really begin to build and understand what our steps can be, I'd be very, very happy.
Can I share what I see, Louis?
Yeah.
Yeah, what I see in the metaphor of we are on a ship and we are heading straight forward to the shore. And one way or the other, the ship will turn. Or we bang to the shore, or we wake up and we go left or right. And I do think that the way the world is going right now, and you see a big example in the US, for instance, what's happening there, it's also coming to Europe. We are really, really going out of the shore. And a lot of people are going to wake up because they need to wake up. When I see here in the Netherlands, a lot of people say, oh, we're not doing so good, so bad anymore. We are going on a holiday, and we go to Greece, and we go to Barcelona, and we go to this, and we go to that, and I go and buy a new car, and I buy a new house, and blah, blah, blah. So they think we are going back to normal. And I think there is no normal. There is no normal after this. What you said about you in the UK with Boris, you say, oh, there you have the economy back on track. No, we are not going to go back on track again. The aftermath of what happened after 3 months will be spread out to the world in the coming 3 months. So I predict, and a lot of people with me, that we have to have a very, very different fall in this year, where we really need each other. And then I come to the couch people. We need the local economy. We need the local people to connect and to make sure that we can survive this. Because I don't depend on my government if it really, really goes sour. Then I can depend on my neighbors, on RD and on all the people around me. We can support and help each other to go on, and then the Care First economy starts. The Care First will start because we have to care for each other. Yeah. There is no government anymore that can take care of me, because there is no government anymore. They are all looking after themselves. Yeah? They are leaving the sinking ship. And then they say, oh, look, the whole country goes. That's a shame. I'm now the head of KLM. Oh, yeah, that's no problem anymore. I have a big salary.
It's lovely what you say, because also with the Roger Space, or was it whoever spoke with you? What was his name?
Evert spoke to you.
What you were saying, and also what I'm hearing in the group, with that Meeting the Mystery of Money workshop, I did it with people from a group called Future Capital. Well, they're all, you know, I mean, they work on seeing how to finance the realization of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. You got people who work on all different levels of the world. But as soon as they hit that level of inner integration, I guess the space that we naturally share, even if we sit together here, they begin to transform the world.
I have a question.
Yeah?
Yes, like here we are with a group of like-minded people. You know, we all find care very important. And that's what I find in these kinds of discussions in the spiritual community, especially, that everyone is on board with love and care. The question is, how do we actually transition to make it practical in the normal world? And I hear from you that you're working with this theme for 20 or 30 years. So I'm actually very curious about what are the initiatives, what's the progress, the projects around this care first economy.
Well, I think there is an enormous amount going on the planet. I mean, there's so many initiatives that where people are applying that, even if they don't talk about care first. I mean, what I am sitting with the most personally is how it is for the majority of humanity. So when we talk about people that we might call asleep, you know, the consciousness by which we could be driving the ship into disaster. So how can we all hit that tone? I mean, my wife Sandra and I watched a really interesting thing yesterday. This is a man in England who does work with choirs. And he was working with NHS workers and what they now call essential workers, people who collect the garbage, and people who are in the shops who are all honored and respected because they do, so in a way, let's say, the dangerous work. He was trying to get them to create songs that really speak to each other. Well, it is just one world of the heart. And there, on a feeling level, everybody is understanding the same thing. So I think, I don't know how we do it, but the more and more and more we can galvanize on that goodness in everybody on this planet and have that connected into how new things can work, the better. But so I can say I know of an enormous amount of good steps that have been taken, and also I feel that in certain places we're still as stuck as I was when I started this.
Can I add something to that, Louis? Because Evert was asking what are you practically doing with it, but you created the We Worldwide platform. So you're bringing all these people together who are building Care First world.
Yeah, that's true.
You forgot.
Yeah, no, that is true. I mean, that is also I think what Erica was pointing at, like how we connect to each other, the intention of We Worldwide, which we call a home for heart intelligence, is to create a safe space online where people can meet from the heart, see each other's work, connect and collaborate, and make the connections. Yes. So, yeah. But to find out more about that, I'll put a little link in the chat box. Just a moment.
Louis.
Yeah.
Well, you said just now that you find yourself back at the beginning, and what I noticed while listening is that there is some, well, skepticism alive in me. And coming back to what Evert also shared, like, so there's so many people that don't understand this language that we are speaking. So even if there are a lot of initiatives around the world, there are so many people who don't speak this language.
Yeah, and I agree with you. So it is for me, if I look at the world and I think, to what extent can the world as a whole move in the direction that we're talking about? I don't really know. But what I do know is that I and so many of my friends are all doing our best. And I am convinced that we as a planet can get there, but how long that is going to take. I mean, I turned 70. I don't have any illusion that care first world is completely grounded on our planet by the time I pass over, if that's in 30 years. But I'm also completely open to the kinds of things that can happen. And I can't really see that. So I agree with you. I think that, I mean, it is a fact that there is an enormous amount of people on this planet who think and feel exactly as we all feel, and are working 24 hours a day on making the world a better place.
So maybe
Anna, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, well, I thought I might want to add a bit on that, because Ardi and I were actually talking about that as well. Like, how do you make that connection to other people? So it's about connecting and finding out what their interests are and connecting all to the bigger vision that we have. I mean, everybody wants to live in a beautiful world, and however you define it, but it's about the tone of voice that Ardi was talking about, being curious about the other person and sort of connecting to what that person is involved in. And Ardi gave a great example of her brother. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ardi, but she'd been sending him information about certain things. He was like, oh, I'm not really interested, and stopped sending me things. And then this past week, he sent something that he was really interested in, shared that, which is related to all of this. So it's very much about, and maybe it is very, on the micro level, it's very much a lot of work, maybe from individual to individual, but it is about finding, where do you have the connection with the other person, and move on from there and use their language to get a different.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, that's the only thing I do with people. But then still, if you see where the consciousness of so many people is, you can't force consciousness. So that is something, I think that we can only do our best. I think I just want to make sure that let's have another 5 minutes and then close. But so just one thing that I did, I call it now the Roger Space Group. I put in chat a link, and that is to a Google Doc. I call it Care First Information. There I give information about We Worldwide. I start with an organization called the Wellbeing Economy Alliance. It's maybe really interesting for you all. And that is a website where they bring all sorts of initiatives together worldwide who are consciously working towards a well-being economy. And on that site, you can see a TED talk from Nicola Sturgeon from Scotland. And she talks about the application of a well-being budget. Well, a well-being budget for a government is a complete care-first approach. But Iceland and New Zealand, all run by women, those two countries work on the basis of a well-being budget. So you can check all these things out.
What is the Truth and Reconciliation Group?
That's the organization that organized this Zoom event. Yeah, and they did that also in the light of what we're talking about. Everything that was brought to the front through the COVID-19 crisis, all the wounding that becomes visible in the world, and what we can do together to heal that. Are you all entering info into that Google form? Can I be in connection with you all like that? Then maybe I can put something together out of what came from that. I can send it to you, and then we can always see if we want to take another step together. Because of course we just started the conversation, but I really feel very, very committed to collaborating with everyone. Yeah, I just want to invite you all to give this session closure in the way that you feel. Something you want to say, a wish you have, something you wish towards what we all could do together, whatever. So I'll just open up the space for closure and invite you all to share whatever you want to share to close this session.
Oh. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thanks for everything, everyone.
I'll say thank you also, Louis. Thank you, everybody. It's been wonderful being with you and hearing everyone's views and points. And I offer my wish for greater connection and joy and love for everyone.
Yeah, I also want to say thank you, Louis, for this space or this organization behind, which opened up this space as well, and for everybody who's been here. And I wanted to add to this metaphor, which is not even a metaphor, it's really happening, what you said, Jules, which is can be also quite catastrophic. But at the same time, I want to remind all of us that if enough people come together and act like we do here from our highest selves and with our best possible intentions, we can turn the ship around instantly. And it can spread from this moment, or from this one sound, what we talked about, Louis, that connects us all to the source. And if we come from that, we can turn it all around in the best possible way and create this garden together.
Bless you.
Or a bit more messy, when actually the boat does hit the shore, we'll be at the shore and just waiting for the people to survive.
Well, there is actually
a little wigwam, or what is it?
There's actually an interesting thing. Jules and Delilah, the group that they are connected to, on We Worldwide that they mentioned, which is an online platform that we are creating, and we are seeing that as a ship. And Jules and Delilah and Paul and Petra, all the people connected, are wanting to bring the whole group, 400 or 500 people that are now communicating on WhatsApp over these issues, on We Worldwide. We Worldwide has a safe WhatsApp, has its own chat, but that is a ship. And so it might be, I don't know how that works with you and Jules, how much you will be connecting with the people here on the call in relationship to We Worldwide, but we all have the possibility. I know Eric is on that ship, Candice is on that ship. We can be on that ship, and because the software organizes groups, we can have ourselves organized in this group on We Worldwide. You know, we've met, we can add other people to it. So, what I feel is that so many times a meeting is enough just because we met. We always like to do that, or what is the follow-up? But I do feel that we live in a time where it is really, really important that we don't leave each other. So I absolutely hate to stop this call. I mean, especially with the Roger Space group. I can't stand sitting here. I want to sit on that couch with you guys. We Worldwide, as it is developing, has created the portal into that ship. We call that a personal key. And the personal key we describe as exploring the unique workings of your heart intelligence. I did that session yesterday with Erica.
Yeah.
But it is really interesting. And so we're activating heart intelligence individually, in groups, and in collaboration. Because one of the things that I say, if you can't sit in circle together, be humble enough, listen deeply enough, and be in your hearts, you might as well chuck the so-called solutions in the bin, because nothing happens. We have to find the answers together. So, welcome on our ship. And,
Spaceship, Louis.
we're just going to be together. You're all going to be on my ship. And I have really good food, and lots of great music, and an enormous amount of jokes. So
Let's do it.
let's do it.
Let's do it.
Okay. Anyone else wants to share anything before we close? No? All.
Just lots of thanks for what other people have said, for organizing this and getting us together. I want to add my wish to that we are in touch with our own light inside, and we can shine bright and take others with us on our journeys.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For me, the same. Thank you. And I'm looking forward to what's coming.
Okay, thank you very much.
And also thank you.
Yeah. I mean, it was really crazy because I almost had not done this. I was asked to do this 3 days ago, and I thought, oh no. But there was something in me had the feeling, just do it. And so I'm very happy that we could do this. Bless you. I mean, I love Zoom. I can't believe that I can do Meeting the Mystery of Money on Zoom. It's just unbelievable. But in a situation like this, I think I would have been so happy to sit in one room together. So
Yeah.
bless you all, love you all, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Meet again. Bye.
Bye. Doei. Bye.
Doei doei.